Okay, then you say, well, this is all fine, Dr. Ramachandran, but what about abstract art? What about Rodin, which is sort of semi-realistic, it's not even realistic? What about Henry Moore, which is not realistic? How do you begin to explain, or a Van Gogh, or a Miro? How do you explain these types of art using your model? Because there's no realism there. Well, I can, or I can give it a shot. And if you go into ethology, and this is where unexpected insights come from when you're doing science. In ethology, if you go back to Oxford, about 50 years ago, an ethologist named Tinbergen, who got a Nobel Prize for this work, was looking at seagulls. You see these on our coast here. They're called herring gulls. They got a yellow beak with a red spot. Now, as soon as the seagull's chick hatches, it goes and starts pecking at that red spot immediately. And the seagull then regurgitates half-digested food into the gaping chick's mouth. The chick swallows the food and he's happy. So Tinbergen asked a question which a child would ask, but most adults wouldn't. That is, how does the chick know who's an adult seagull with a beak full of food, right? So Tinbergen did the obvious experiment. He plucked the beak off the seagull, I mean, presumably after it was dead. And then here's this ethologist waving this beak in front of the chick. And the chick continues to beg for food, even though there's this guy holding, there's no seagull. There's only this beak. So that means, as far as seagull is concerned, that is mom, that beak. And you say, well, that's weird. Why would it think a disembodied beak is mom? That's kind of stupid. Well, it's not stupid, because what the goal of vision and perception is to do as little computation as you need to do for the job in hand, using shortcuts if necessary, using heuristics. And in this case, you can take advantage of hundreds of thousands of years of evolution to wire in your brain a primitive template. And that is the only time, statistically, I'm going to see that long thing with a red spot, is when there's a mother attached. So why do I need to worry about the entire mother? Whenever I see that beak with a red spot, I'll beg for food. Because beak means mom. I'm not going to encounter a beak. I'm not going to encounter a malicious ethologist waving a beak in nature, nor a pig with a mutant pig with a beak. Okay, in nature, I'll always see it with a mom, so I can avoid the computational burden of processing the entire mom and just look at the beak. But now comes the clincher. What Tinbergen found was, forget about the beak. You take a long yellow stick with a red spot, the chicks still go to it. Because the system in the brain, the template, has a tolerance. Just like you can use a rusty key to open a lock, it doesn't have to be perfect. So the neuronal systems in the brain are not perfect. If you just give a yellow rod with a spot, still the chick gets fooled and goes and begs for food. But now, the bottom line, Tinbergen took a long yellow stick and put 3 red stripes on it. And the chicks go crazy. They go berserk. And all of them are attracted to it like a magnet, and they all congregate and start pecking incessantly, preferring that to the original beak, and indeed to the mother. We said, that's really stupid. Why this thing doesn't even look like a beak, right? Why is it preferring this? Why is it fetishizing this object? The answer is, we don't know what the grammar of vision is, what the neurons are doing. Maybe they have a rule that says the more red contour, the better. So what you've done is you've created, Tinbergen, without realizing it, has accidentally stumbled on a super beak, which is actually more optimally stimulating these beak neurons in the brain than a real beak, and this gives a jolt to the chick's limbic system saying, wow, what a sexy beak, right? And it goes crazy and starts fetishizing this object. Now you say, what's this got to do with human art? Well, let me tell you. Again, it's deviating from realism. This is what all of you, in other words, if the seagull chick had an art gallery, if seagulls had an art gallery, they would hang the stick with the 3 stripes on the wall, pay hundreds of millions of dollars, worship it, and regard it as a great work of abstract art. In other words, what I'm saying is that the great works of abstract art, the great artists like Picasso or Monet or all of these people, or Rodin or Henry Moore, they've discovered the figural primitives, the equivalent of this long stick with the 3 stripes for your human brain. And then they're playing with these primitives. That's what's going on. And that's what you're doing when you go to these contemporary art galleries and paying thousands of dollars to buy these abstract works. So you're behaving exactly like a bird brain, like a chick's brain.